More breaking news coming in, viewers, at this point in time. Aramco Oil Refinery has been hit in Saudi. This is the update that we are getting for you. Reports are suggesting that 136 Iranian drones, in fact, have hit this particular refinery. This is very, very important update that we are getting for you.
No, this is the Iranian Shahed-136 drone that is now being said that has now hit Aramco Oil Refinery. This is one of the biggest refineries there in Saudi, and this has now been reported in Ras Taruna area there, where there have been certain reports that also suggest that fire there has now been contained. But this is coming across as a big development as far as Saudi also in a way is now being dragged in as far as these attacks are now concerned, and this seems to be the involvement of at least 7 of the Gulf nations that is now being talked about. One of the biggest refineries. Hina, as you can explain to us, to our viewers, there are the pictures that are now coming in from Aramco, which is one of the biggest refineries of Saudi.
First of all, this is an attack on Saudi Arabia, which was not really expected. Yes, the Iranians were going to hit Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, places like even Dubai. But Saudi Arabia was a little unexpected. Then, attack on oil refineries, oil installations, oil infrastructure was not expected. It's not only bad for Saudi Arabia. Of course, it's bad for Saudi Arabia. It is also bad for India. It is also bad for the world. Because as Hina rightly said, that this could lead to tremors in the oil production circuit in the world. And this could raise oil prices to above $100 a barrel, which is why Prime Minister's statement today, in fact, by both Prime Minister's statements, are so important. Prime Minister Modi has again spoken about peace, and quite rightly too. The other point is, after all these discussions with the Canadians have agreed to sell natural gas and oil to India. Now, Canada, it's not very well known, is one of the very large producers of oil. And if there is a problem in the Gulf, as we can see a problem, first attack on the refineries, second closure of Hormuz and all of that, then India will need oil from other places. Remember, oil from Russia oil imports from Russia have come down. So if Canada can help India out, this is a time when this oil from Canada will be very useful.
Absolutely, and this is now coming in as a ramification or a consequence that now we are looking at as far as when it comes to the developments that are also concerned, because oil prices are going to rise after such developments have taken place. We are looking at how US and Israel attacks on Iran also threaten the Strait of Hormuz and the oil markets. But there are now reports also coming in from Iraq. Drone attacks that have now been reported in Iraq's Erbil and explosions that have been reported at the airport base. According to Iranian media reports, they have been suggesting that at least 3 drones have now hit a US base, and this is a US base in Iraq, Hina, that has now been targeted.
Iraq also has been targeted. We have a statement coming in from Iraqi resistance group. Could you simplify it for us? What does this mean now in this war?
Well, the Iranians are known for their drones. The Iranians have even been selling drones to Russia for use in the war against Ukraine. These kamikaze drones are quite useful, and they have been used by Iran now. Now they've used it in different places. We've already discussed the Aramco attack. Now Erbil is the Kurdish area in Iraq. Now here, there is an American base, and that is the base that has been attacked. Look at all the American bases in the area. Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, all of these places have been attacked. And if there are missile attacks, if there are drone attacks, then very clearly some of them are going to strike. Now, Iron Dome is very, very capable. There's no dispute about it. Right. Now, it can stop 90% of those attacks, and it has over the past months and years. It can stop 95%, but then 1 or 2 or 5 will go through. And that's exactly what is happening. Despite Iron Dome, despite the air defense systems, some of these will always go through. If you fire 100, though the Iranians have been firing fewer this time as opposed to the last time, then the chances are that one or two will go through, and this is exactly what is happening. One or two are going through and causing damage and devastation.
But that's a substantive, as far as weapons that Iran, despite the sanctions for decades, has managed to put up, against as far as the US and the Israeli forces. Because Shashank, is it all coming down to one question, and that is oil? Because this seems to be a direct provocation that is also coming in for Saudi. Any instability in this important maritime route that we speak of could actually rattle the economic stability worldwide.
Quite clearly, because look, about 25–30% of the global oil flows through the Persian Gulf. And Saudi Arabia is one of the most important oil producers in the world. And if Saudi and Iraqi and Kuwaiti oil supplies are no longer going to start reaching the markets, world markets, then clearly it has a massive impact on the global economy. Apart from the fact that prices are going to shoot up, the supplies are going to be constricted. And I've said this earlier, let me say it again. I think it bears repeating again and again. Russian crude has to come into the global market now. There is no alternative. Yes, I think it's good that we have Prime Minister Carney in India right now. And if we can strike a deal on Canadian oil, because we have some of the refineries which are equipped to handle Canadian oil. A lot of Canadian oil is, of the heavy crude kind of a thing, which not many refineries around the world are equipped to handle, process. So I think India can actually try and stabilize global oil markets, provided the Europeans and the Americans get off their hobby horse of sanctioning Russian oil. I think Russian oil is necessary for the international economy to stabilize it. Otherwise, the kind of disruptions that are going to happen, and I think that is one of the things that Iran is calculating, that if it can disrupt the global oil market, then it will create the kind of pressure on the United States, on Israel and the other countries to end this war and probably end it on Iran's terms, which I don't see how politically and strategically can be justified by them.
But are these strategic hits that we are looking at on part of Iran?